Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Sam Bushman, the good Sheriff Richard Mack in the house. We got a lot going on, man. I'm telling you right now. So it's an exclusive to watch the show live if you're a posse member. CSPOA.org to become a posse member today. You'll get the page link and you can start watching the webinar. And we're working on it. There's a technical glitch with one of our providers, too, sadly, right when we start this new venture. But there's going to be a chat feature where everybody should be able to chat. I don't know why I tried to chat in it just now and it's not working. We'll get that fixed, too, and everybody will be able to chat and communicate with the show and the webinar, which will be right after the show. So the show's 1 hour long on Wednesdays, and Sheriff Mack will be with me, Jack and others will be with me. So it's just going to basically expand the show and give exclusivity to those who support the posse. CSPOA.org to become a posse member today. So Sheriff Mack, there's so much news going on. You know what ActBlue is, right?
ActBlue?
ActBlue, yes.
Remind me.
All right, ActBlue is the basically the credit card processing system for liberals. So when they want to go ahead and do all this stuff, raise all this money for elections and everything else, it all runs through ActBlue, right?
Okay.
And so ActBlue now is facing all kinds of controversy because progressive candidates, you know, AOC, Bernie Sanders, all these guys, they're still using ActBlue for their donations, despite the fact that ActBlue is facing congressional investigation and allegations of fraud, right? This decision is...
You don't understand. If you're going to act blue, you have to be acting corrupt.
Oh, that's a fact. That's the problem. So claims of illicit foreign contributions are there as well, not to mention internal compliance issues. But here's the deal. They've raised over $19 billion since 2004 alone, $19 billion. And now they're under investigation. And for the midterms, they're using ActBlue to raise a bunch of money. Now there's this lady. She's an old lady, like 88 years old, and they said that she donated like 150 grand over the last many years. And she lives in a trailer, and she says that isn't true. She doesn't have that kind of money. And so we know there's scandals. There's international donations to this thing. There's fake donations. There's propaganda. It's all dishonest. Here's my question. Where on earth is cash?
Well, where did they get the money? Are they laundering it through people like the lady in the trailer park that said she gave $150,000?
That's what they say, yes.
So they're laundering dirty money.
As far as I understand. Now, I'm not on the inside. I'm not the prosecutor, so I don't have all the intel on it. That's the problem. We don't have much intel, but they just released a bunch of information recently about it saying all this stuff has been vetted and is true. And I'm just saying, how do you let this go on since 2004? It's over 20 years now. And we basically have this deal where it's international, it's fraud, it's criminal, and it's affecting elections. And people tell me there's no election fraud, Sheriff. $19 billion.
Well, it's obviously, if the lady that supposedly gave $150,000 says she never did it and she lives in a trailer park and she doesn't have the money to do it anyway, obviously something's wrong with that picture. And you got to act blue. You got to act blue. And so that means you're woke and you're corrupt and you're dishonest and instead
other than that, it's not so bad.
Yeah, other than that, being blue's fine. Yeah.
What's the red version of ActBlue? They have a Republican one that does basically similar things. And this is my take, Sheriff. I think this is kind of why. Okay, the Republican conservative counterpart to ActBlue is called WinRed. Just so you know.
There's WinRed there's Reddit, but I don't think Reddit raises money for them. But
Reddit's different, but it's called WinRed. And so here's why I don't think they're going after ActBlue hard enough. Because then when the tables are turned, they're going to go after WinRed.
WinRed, yeah. Yeah, well, WinRed has made a bunch of money off of it. And, normal business, you're going to make enough money. You don't have to cheat. WinRed's getting, just like any credit card in the country. You pay with a credit card, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, whoever, they make money off of that. Okay, that's how credit cards work.
Big money, because think about the 19 billion they've raised. How much credit card do you get out of 19 billion? If you take 3%, for example, that's a lot of money, Sheriff.
Millions for sure. Yeah.
Well, if it's 19 billion, 10% would be 9 billion, right?
Right.
I'm sorry, 1.9 billion.
Right.
And so 3% would be more like, half a billion. So they made about $500 million just on that alone at the credit card companies.
Yeah. So why do they need to cheat? They've got plenty of money, folks. But, you got to act blue.
Well, the reason you got to cheat, Sheriff, is because even if you have a lot of money, really it doesn't matter if you have a lot of money. A lot of times good people win, and they can't have that.
Yeah.
So now take Mike Lindell. He's questioning his results, and they say, well, how dare you? You can't question them. Only if you lose by a little bit can you question them. And he's going, no, I was up in every poll around by quite a bit. Now I lost by quite a bit. Something isn't right. Now, I don't know if he's correct or not. I don't have the intel on his race, but I am saying I do see that as a concern. And when you're putting $19 billion into elections everywhere with ActBlue, with this, in my opinion, dishonest and international money, and you have all these behind the scenes PACs and everything else to where we have no idea who's funding our elections. We heard Mark Zuckerberg put $400 million into the 2020 election. And then we hear Elon Musk put a ton of money into other elections, and other big donors have done that. You and I are locked down to a certain amount according to the law, but yet these people can get around it with these dark money operations and stuff like that. But see, it's the Republicans and the Democrats that are all guilty of this. And this really goes along with your book. It's the principles that are the reason for the Democrat murder of America. It's a politically charged title, but really the point is you're saying anybody who goes along with that is really the problem, right?
Absolutely, Sam. And you didn't mention the name George Soros, who for the last 25 years has been paying politicians to follow his agenda.
That's because he handed it to his son, Alec, as far as I understand, right?
Well, yeah.
So,
the Soros crime
younger
family.
generations, same mode of operandus, I guess.
Right.
Anyway, there you have that. Also, have you seen this? Declassified FBI files detail alleged spy ring relating to sex, interns, etc., etc. Yeah, they say suspected Chinese intelligence operative Christine Fang Fang. I guess she was tied to China's Ministry of State Security. And the FBI investigated finance activity, but then did not investigate the case. Why? Because when Fang Fang found out, she fled to China and ran away, and they said, we can't really continue the investigation. If she ran away and she's gone, it's really hard to investigate this. But they failed to take action during their investigative time frame. And now Eric Swalwell's caught in the news. He told agents, he slept with her, and it was great, he says. But I didn't give her any classified information or favors. No, sir, absolutely not. And so now they declined prosecution, the Justice Department, everybody else. And they say, don't worry, though, it's going to be okay, even though no one got busted in this big scandal. So you got Congressman sleeping with well-known Chinese spies, and then it all blows up. He admits to it. She flees to China. If that's not guilt, I don't know what is. But nothing happened. But don't worry, Sheriff. Kash Patel's on it. Investigators are now pursuing leads involving possible Chinese efforts to infiltrate other federal and state political offices through interns. So the pattern was set by Fang Fang, and the government knew about it. This all happened like 2016 kind of range stuff before even Donald took office in the first place. So it was all Barack Hussein's, watch. And then it continued and everything else. But nothing's happened to date. So we're not going to act on ActBlue and prosecute. We're not going to act on Eric Swalwell and prosecute. We're not going to go after Fang Fang. We're not going to go after Anthony Fauci. We're not going after anybody, Sheriff.
Well, first of all, it's not against the law to have an affair. It's not against the law for Swalwell or whoever else in Congress or before.
Wait, is it against the law for a congressman to have an affair with a foreign national operative?
Not against the law.
Okay. Don't see how that could be, but okay.
Yeah, but however, it certainly looks bad and would need some sort of ethics oversight from the United States Congress. So the House of Representatives would be in charge of going after that and saying, what the heck are you doing? Well, they've already done that with Swalwell.
Not really.
And they determined that, yes, he was having an affair with this Chinese spy. In and of itself, no matter who or what the occupation is of the courtesan, if you will, it's not against the law. Now,
it's not against the United States law, but it is against God's law. But okay.
Well, of course, but it's definitely an ethical problem that needs to be addressed, and then they need to see if it needs a follow-up with the criminal investigation.
Well, the problem is they didn't follow up with it. They dropped the case, and now they released more classified files. That's why we know more, and that's why it's in the news right now. Hold on, everybody.
This is a battle between truth and deceit, a battle between forces that would enslave this country in darkness, and between a media that wants to present you with the truth. We are being censored. America's news outlets no longer provide the truth. 90% of news outlets in the United States are controlled by 6 corporations. The mission of the Epoch Times is to chase the truth, to ground all statements in fact.
TheEpochTimes.com.
I believe there will come a time when we are all judged on whether or not we took a stand in defense of all life from the moment of conception until our last natural breath. As a teenager, I gave my first public speech in my church. My hand shook, my heart pounded. I thought to myself, I can't do this, but somehow I did, and because I wanted to talk about things that were important, I persisted. I chided my church as a senior in high school for not seeming to care about the not yet born, for looking the other way, and for not taking a stand on life. I will be in earnest. I will not equivocate, and I will not excuse. I will not retreat an inch, and I will be heard. One thing I promise you, I will always take a stand for life.
All right, the good sheriff and Sam Bushman back with you live. We're finishing up the Liberty Roundtable show. Final segment every Wednesday. We'll put the show on the CSPOA channel so you can watch the show live. It's an exclusive for CSPOA Posse members. Become a member today, CSPOA.org. Get a hold of Sheriff Mack's latest book, murderofamerica.com, for the Democrat Murder of America, available now in all kinds of formats. Check it out. And they basically released a bunch of new classified information admitting that Swalwell's guilty as all get out. Fang Fang fled to China. She's guilty as all get out, too. But no harm, no foul, because, hey, we don't care about God's law in America. You can have affairs all you want with Chinese spies. No big deal, as long as you didn't whisper the wrong things in the right ear. You follow me? So don't worry about it. It's all good, they say. And the problem is we don't have any prosecutions like we thought we were going to get to the bottom of things. But, as far as I can tell, Kash Patel has not been involved in doing much. But there you have it. Now, Clint Curtis is in the news. You say, who the heck is he? He's the recently defeated elections chief of a place called Shasta County, California. Well, he plans to hire Tina Peters as a consultant now because he says there's election fraud in his area, he's convinced. And as you know, Tina Peters, known for her high-profile case where she stood up and recorded election fraud, but all they did was prosecute her and pretend that she didn't have authority to do that. And this potential appointment, they say, is driving liberals absolutely off their rocks crazy, Sheriff.
Well, you know what? That's almost poetic justice that he would hire Tina Peters. And, of course, the national media, oh, my God. She's been convicted of being an election denier.
Okay.
She was convicted, they said.
But aren't they the deniers, though? She's saying there's election fraud, and they're denying it, Sheriff. Aren't they the deniers?
Okay, come and arrest me, Sam. Tell them. They can come and arrest me and you because we're both election deniers.
I'm not a denier. I admit there's election fraud.
Don't deny it, Sam.
Deny what?
Election fraud.
I'm not denying it. I say it exists.
You and I are deniers.
No, they are.
Don't try to hide it, Sam. You and I are subject to arrest right now.
Do you agree there's election fraud?
Yes.
Okay, you're not denying it then. They are.
Oh,
Aren't they denying it?
Oh, good. I'm safe.
Isn't that interesting how the liberals, though, command weird language? So I say election fraud has occurred, and they call me a denier. They're the ones saying it didn't occur, and they're not the deniers, right?
Yeah, funny how
See
that
how
works.
stupid I am? I'm just redneck stupid. I can't figure that out, but I'm not denying anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing of it is, they don't ever address the corrupt judge. They don't ever address what was she really charged with? How was she charged with a felony when she's the county recorder in charge of the elections? And Sam, even if Tina was wrong, even if she made the wrong call, that's not a crime for her to secure the ballots.
That's for sure.
She goes, oh, whoops. Well, I guess I didn't need to do that. So who was the victim of her horrible felony? No one. No one.
Truth
No
is the greatest casualty, Sheriff. The truth is the victim.
Of course.
Other than that, you're correct.
And when I watch these former employees of hers come in to testify against her, one was just bawling. Oh, she was crying, Sam. And this horrible Tina was starting to do these things and secure ballots, and she wanted me to help, and I just couldn't do it. And Sam, where was the crime?
Well, and my response is, are they saying she was trying to secure ballots?
Hide them or secure them? Or,
hold on a minute. If she's trying to hide them, I thought they have a record of them. She just took a copy of it.
I know.
She didn't hide anything. She just preserved.
She preserved what was there. She didn't manipulate them. She didn't change them. She wanted to secure them just in case they needed to follow up with a criminal investigation.
Isn't that something that she would be obligated to do, Sheriff?
Yes. No question.
Okay, just wondering. I'm not very smart. See, I just can't figure that out. All right, listen, 25 states have now sued the Trump administration over the latest round of tariffs. They're all Democratic-led states, Sheriff.
Yeah.
And they're doing it now. Donald says that he's not going to pile the tariffs on Canada because they're working out a deal. So that's good news. Now, I believe in tariffs, though. I just believe Congress needs to back the president. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, tariffs are there. Tariffs have been around for centuries.
Yes,
and it's a fair way to make sure that foreign countries who have cheap labor don't undermine the production and products and sales of American business.
It's called fair trade, not free trade, and it's based on a level playing field, right?
Yeah. And all that makes sense. But if Trump's doing it, then Trump derangement syndrome will take over, and that's exactly what's happening. Yeah. And
that's where I think Congress needs to back the president. Though, look, a lot of what President Trump is doing is right. He just never got the backing from Congress that he should have had. That's, in my mind, the real problem.
Right. Yeah,
it's tragic.
Yeah. But but where's my tariff check? If they're going to be refunding everybody, they should be refunding me. And man, what happened with the Doge money that we were going to get back?
Oh man, I don't know what happened to Doge because this is the problem. See, Elon Musk highlighted that there's literally money machines that make money.
Yeah.
And I don't really see any follow-up for that, for criminal prosecution for whoever's running the money computers. I kind of think that they need to get me one of those. If they could just kind of clone that dude and send it over, I'd appreciate it.
But Sam, that brings up another one that you and I've talked about before. How is it that Senator Rand Paul got to go into Fort Knox and he came back out and assured us all that all the gold is still there? How would he know?
Well, whether he knows or not, here's my problem. It could be tungsten. He didn't test the gold. Secondly, though, here's my issue. Him going in and saying the gold's there, that's nothing like a third-party independent audit, right?
Yeah, I mean, did he go, oh, well, there were this many pallets and they weighed this many pounds and yeah, did he really come up with the numbers or he's, oh yeah, there's some gold in there?
And it's half of what we're supposed to have. No one told us where the other half's at either.
Yeah, well, that's right. And I thought, I'm telling you what, I did not trust his review of the gold he saw. What did he see? How would he know that did he go in knowing this is how much gold and this is how many pallets of gold? And did he look underneath the tarps And, did he touch the gold? What did he do? Did he walk through the entire vault? No way.
Yeah, but you got to trust but verify, Sheriff, don't you?
Yeah. Let's see it. And why wasn't he allowed to take any pictures?
Here's the interesting thing. I don't understand any of that, and it makes me really wonder about Rand Paul. The other thing that's interesting is he said there was 150 million ounces, right? 147 million ounces. And he said
there's 150
well, we have no
million?
idea. Then the other question is, though, he says that's half that. But if you take 300 million ounces of gold, Sheriff, I'm not very smart, okay? And you take that amount of gold, 300 million. I'm trying to get my calculator up, right? 300 million. I need 100 million. And then you times that, times how much is gold, Sheriff, do you want to say?
4,400.
4400. Okay?
Yeah.
1,320,000,000,000. So let me get this right. We're like 30 plus trillion in debt, and we've only got 1 trillion in gold?
40 trillion in debt.
Okay, 40 trillion in debt.
And we have a trillion in gold.
Okay, we got 1 trillion in gold. What's happening here? So even if it is there, and he only saw half of it, and how did he know? I mean, at some point you go, this is clown show stuff, Rand.
It really is.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, there you go. Now, everybody's wondering about where two people are. Sheriff, do you know who they are?
Let's see, the old Teamster guy, what was his name that disappeared?
No, I'm talking about people that are alive right now. Come on. There's a Congress, or there's a senator. His name's Mitch.
Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, but he's wondering where Mitch is. He hasn't been seen for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody's also wondering where Melania is because she hasn't been seen for a long time. Here's the difference, though. No one's telling us about Mitch and whether he's even competent to serve. Rand Paul hasn't spoke out about that like he should. But now they're accusing Melania of not being around. But it turns out that she's maintained a discreet profile. That's all true. But the fact is, she's going to be emerging at an event tomorrow with Indy cars and all that kind of stuff. And her goal is to promote. She's been working for children, helping foster children and homeless children, foster youth investment accounts, and trying to figure out ways for them to get housing. It's a Rose Garden appearance that'll happen tomorrow. And it'll expand educational opportunities for young people. It's really a cool program, in my opinion here. She's focusing on non-consensual injury from intimate interactions or encounters for youth. Anyway, it's called her Fostering the Future Initiative. It's a very good program that, in my opinion, she's not getting enough credit for. Well, now the liberals are attacking her and saying, oh, where is she? Now the comedians are making jokes. She must have ran off with somebody. And my response is, how dare they say that to the first lady when there's no evidence of that whatsoever? The jokes aren't funny, people. That's a disgrace, Sheriff.
They want to act blue, too.
Yeah. That's what's going on. And I'm telling you, it's evil, though. It's wrong.
It is. It is evil. And heck, let's be real. The book points that out. This is just standard operating procedure for the political corruption of Washington, D.C. And maybe she's hiding because of all the threats towards the Trump family. And her.
I don't know. I think she's basically involved in some great work behind the scenes, and she doesn't want to play games with the clowns that continue to dishonestly deal with her. Yeah, I think she's a class act and doing a great job personally. Her Be Best program is a great program, too. I wish I could get a hold of her and help her, because we could take on these clowns and bring the truth forward. She's doing a great job in many, many ways, and she deserves credit. So she hasn't disappeared for any reason but that she's working hard for the children of America that don't have families. Give her some credit for crying out loud, you clowns. My heaven's sakes. All right, the show's over, ladies and gentlemen. CSPOA.org to become a member. The posse starts right now. All right? God save our constitutional republic.